When we talk about best tea in the world, the name Dilmah comes to my mind. It's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce Dilhan Fernando, who's here to talk to us about a new challenge called High Tea Challenge held at the Melbourne Hilton. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derrick. It's a pleasure to be here.
Dilhan, will you be able to briefly tell our viewers what's this challenge is all about, High Tea Challenge?
Well, the intention is to present Australians with the understanding of tea, to look at tea beyond just a cup of tea with milk and sugar, to go into different terroirs, to look at different elevations. I mean, as Sri Lankans, we all know how sophisticated and complex tea is. Now in Sri Lanka, I know we still enjoy our tinkiri tea, and I love it too on a Saturday afternoon. But if you in fact go and look at tea, there are thousands of different teas. What you get in Galle at Great Western Estate is different to Holyrood Estate. Navalapite is different, then Nuwara is different. When the weather changes in the season, it is even more different. So you have all this wonderful variety. Now if you look at it, that is the essence of gastronomy, because gastronomy is about different flavors and flavors with a story. So we are trying to share that with the Australian culinary world, because here in Australia you have some of the best chefs in the world, and that I think we all know that the standard is extremely high. So we are simply trying to give them a new dimension, to help them to see the opportunity in tea. And by doing that, what we can also do is we can elevate the perception, the awareness and the appreciation of tea, because today unfortunately a lot of people think that tea is just 100 tea bags for $2.99 or whatever it is. But in fact it's a lot more than that. And if you look at the health benefits in tea, the fact that tea protects against different forms of dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, cardiovascular, cancers, stress, you know, that the role of tea in 21st century life is so much more pronounced and so much more necessary. Now in Sri Lanka, diabetes is currently one of the biggest killers of causes of premature death. Now tea has protective benefits even for diabetes, for cholesterol, so much. So it is important that we share that message, but we have to do it in a pleasurable way. So our idea is here to do it through gastronomy, where people will not drink tea as a medicine, but tea began 5,000 years ago, it began as a medicine, but to drink it as a pleasurable beverage that is also a wonderful healing herb.
This challenge, High Tea Challenge, is that only held in Melbourne or in Australia, or is it worldwide?
The whole Dilmah Real High Tea Challenge in fact began in Sri Lanka. Several weeks ago at the Culinary Art 2011, we had the first part of it, which took place at Culinary Art. We had chefs from all across Sri Lanka, some of the best 5-star properties participating, and it was an outstanding event with a lot of culinary creativity. So it started there and it will finally end when we return to Sri Lanka for the Global Championship.
Which will be?
Which is at the moment likely to be at the end of 2012, but we have about 40 countries to cover. So I cannot be sure when exactly it will be, but most likely end of 2012 once all those culinary competitions are completed.
Dilhan, now with this concept, how did MBF Foundation got involved in this?
Well, my father established the Dilmah business on the principle that business is a matter of human service, which means that since the beginning, since 1962, since when he started his own businesses, we have had a special principle that as important as commercial success, that is as important as profit, is the act of doing humanitarian service. So the MBF Foundation stands for Merrill J. Fernando Charitable Foundation, and it is something that my father established to fulfill that pledge. So the MBF Foundation is involved with what is happening starting in Melbourne with the High Tea Challenge, because the High Tea Challenge is linked to a charity high tea, the first of which took place in Melbourne, and together with the MBF Foundation, the revenue or the proceeds from that will be used to establish 5 culinary training centers. We will start the first one in Moratuwa. We expect it to be open within the next 6 months. We will have centers in Batiklo, in Point Pedro, Eventually we will have one in Monoragala, and we will also have one in Ambalantota. Probably some additional ones also in the different parts of Navalapiti and Galle. So quite a few different centers which have the objective of teaching people with limb injuries, with who have lost their limbs, mainly to landmines and so on, teaching them how to cook. In Sri Lanka at the moment, the old traditions are changing. A lot of people are eating out of home. They find it, there are a lot of women now entering the working population, so they don't have the time to cook at home. Yeah. So there's a huge growth in hospitality, a massive increase in eating houses, especially quick service restaurants. So we felt that this is something that we can do to help these people find a role in society and to contribute.
Dilhan, now you told me the first step was in Melbourne. Now, where's the next challenge held? Was it in Sydney or Perth or Queensland?
From Melbourne we will go to Adelaide. So we will have the next step, the Real High Tea Challenge, as well as, so that is a professional dimension where chefs, professional chef teams get involved. We will have it in Adelaide in 2 days. We will then have it also in Perth, and in each instance, Adelaide, Perth, Sydney, Brisbane, we will have also a charity high tea. Sometimes one, sometimes two, linked to the event, because there are so many people who want to participate and be a part of the work that that we are planning to do with the culinary training institutes. But what we will also do different this time is that each of the people who attend will have the possibility of tracking the progress to see, as the bricks are put on and as the place opens, who goes there and so on, because we don't want to be like conventional charities, in the sense that we don't want people to have to be a part of something that they don't know about. Where here they have come to a charity high tea, we would like to them in 3-4 months to see, okay, this is the progress, this is what has happened. In 6 months to see, okay, here's the opening, and in 1 year to see the youth benefiting from the center, and in 2 years maybe to come and visit.
Dilhan, we don't see you in Melbourne quite often. What will you tell our Sri Lankan audience, or plus our Australian audience who watch our program, about Dilmah?
Well, I think I would tell them two things. The first of all, I would tell them concerning being Sri Lankans in Australia. I think we want to particularly, as Dilmah, thank them, particularly from my father, on behalf of my father, because Dilmah succeeded in Australia first. If Dilmah had not succeeded in Australia, we wouldn't be around today. And we nearly weren't, because when we entered the market, when my father entered the market, our competitors realized the potency of the business model, which his model was to pick, perfect the tea, pack it and bring it direct to market, whereas it was conventionally it was done differently. So they, realizing that here was something that could cause a threat to them, they all discounted heavily and they tried to push him out of the market. They nearly succeeded, but it was the consumer who kept Dilmah afloat, and hence today we have been we are honored to have been able to go and serve customers in 100 countries because of the staff that we received here. And there were many Sri Lankans amongst those responsible, and even to this day we are very honored and humbled to have the support of Sri Lankans. And the second thing is to be very proud of our nation, of what we produce, not only tea. There are so many others. There is, I know, a friend who is engaged in production of arak. There's other products from Sri Lanka which are being refined and being brought to a point where they could be really successful. And I think as a nation we have some amazing products, not only tourism, but also some amazing food products, which I'm sure one day will make it to your shelves here.
Thank you, Dilhan. Please give our good wishes to your dad, Merrill, and let me wish you all the very best for this high tea challenge.
Thank you, Derrick. It has been a pleasure, and I wish yourself, all the Sri Lankans in Australia, the very best from the land of tea.